All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Lassonde School of Engineering student panel discussion. Thank you all for making the time to join us today. We're so excited to share with you some of our insights and experiences from Lassonde. Now, as you know, we are hosting this session from Toronto, Ontario. It's around 8:57 a.m. for us in the morning, but please let us know where you are joining us from today. Let us know in the chat. We'd love to kind of get a gauge of our audience and who we're speaking with today. I'll start off with a brief introduction. My name is Anna, and I'm a member of the recruitment and admissions team here at Lassonde. What that means is that I get to work directly with students like you who are interested in our school and our programs and help them navigate the sometimes confusing or stressful application and admission journey. So hopefully I can help ease some of that for you. As you can see, I'm not alone today. I'm joined by a lovely and knowledgeable team of student ambassadors here at Lassonde. And today's discussion really is all about giving you an authentic look at student life here at our school and within our various programs. So we have representatives from different programs here at Lassonde. I know we have the word engineering in our faculty name, but that's not all that we offer. So we want to give you a peek behind the curtains just to see, what your various interests and passions could lead to. And again, they're here to share personal experiences, but also advice, especially if you're not sure or just starting to, look into your next steps in post-secondary education. All right, so let's give them a warm welcome and kick things off with some brief introductions. I'll hand it off to Valeria first.
Thank you, Anna. Hi, everyone. My name is Valeria. I'm a fourth year computer security student at Lassonde, and I'm international from Washington, D.C. Maybe Jamil can go next.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name's Jamil and I'm in my last year of mechanical engineering. And I'm also international. I came all the way from Saudi Arabia. I'll hand it off to Ethan.
Hi everyone, my name is Ethan. I'm in my third year of digital media, and I came from Ghana. I'll hand it off to Natasha.
Hi everyone, my name is Natasha and I'm in third year of computer engineering. I'm also an international student from Pakistan. I'll hand it over to Toby.
Hi everybody, my name is Tobe and I am international from Nigeria and I'm in civil engineering my final year. And I'll hand it back to the host.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. We're so happy to have a very diverse crew of students with us today. And I think this is just, again, a small glimpse into the community here at Lassonde. Now, before we jump right into today's discussion, because we do have a few questions prepared for our ambassadors, again, today is all about you, right? You as prospective students. So, as a reminder, I strongly encourage you to think of any questions you may have at this point. Nothing is too small or too, um, you know, unimportant to ask. So please put it in the chat. We're happy to help and to support you through this. And we'll be keeping an eye throughout today's discussion for any new questions that pop up. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to Valeria to get the panel started. Over to you, Val.
Thank you, Anna. Before we dive into the Q&A, I would like to ask our panelists to share some of the experiences at Lassonde. And we'll start with the question, why did you choose Lassonde? Jamil, would you like to go first?
Yeah, for sure. So honestly, when I was looking at different universities, and since coming like as an international student, the first thing that I looked at is the location of the university and the community itself. So when I was looking at Lassonde, it was like one, it's close to the city, so like it's very close to Toronto itself, which again is gonna like reflect on your co-ops. We will talk about that later. And then And then at the same time, I was looking at the community as I was like scrolling like through the social media and I was looking at how diverse the community is. I found out that Lassonde actually hosts a lot of international students. So that was one of the main reasons why I chose Lassonde.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamil. Ethan, would you like to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. So for me, the reason I chose Lassonde was I'm from Ghana, so I was surrounded by a lot of Ghanaians. I have my own culture and stuff, but I did want to choose a school which had a lot of like students from like varying backgrounds and stuff. And I saw Lassonde was not only one of those schools, but in Lassonde, the class sizes are pretty small too. So that really attracted me to Lassonde. And also, other than that, my program, digital media, the way it's offered at Lassonde is different from a lot of other universities. So that's why I chose it.
Thank you so much. Natasha, please.
Sure. So when I was looking for an option to choose a university, the first one was like, why would I want to come all the way to Canada? And that was like, I wanted to meet people from different backgrounds. And then I looked at Lassonde and I love how there's like people from different backgrounds. It's so diverse. We have a smaller community, but I love how there are people from different backgrounds and especially they're so approachable. So I was looking also like the other thing I was looking at was how can I commute and come to Lausanne, especially York? And I like how York is in the middle and it's so much easier to just take the public transport and just commute every day. One of the other reasons is also, as Ethan mentioned about his program, I'd like to mention about my program that I like how Lassonde offers the real hands-on experience while I'm working with hardware software during my journey as a computer engineering student. And at other universities, it's a little different, but Lassonde really focuses on real life experience and hands-on experience rather than just what you learn in theory or what are you learning through lectures.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Toby, please.
Hi, so I am originally from Nigeria. I did choose Lesson for two reasons. First of all, I had my cousins in here, so it was more like the reputation preceded itself. So that was one. And also because of its community and its connection, because of the two subways is the most accessible at the moment with on-campus student housing. I wanted something that had its classes within the school environment and just specific for students alone. A lot of other campus are community universities, which York is not necessarily one. So you have like your residences on campus, your faculties on campus, and your classes on campus. So that was more like one of the reasons why I chose York and last one particularly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'll just add a little bit from my side as well. Why I chose computer security was mainly because it's a unique program and an undergrad program because usually it's offered either as a master's degree or as certifications afterwards. So Lausanne was the only one that had it as an undergrad, and it really stood out to me. The next question will be more interesting, I guess, at least in my opinion. It's about the transition to university. What was easy, difficult, or maybe just unexpected for you as internationals? Especially, I think we have lots of things to say about this. Jamil, please.
So honestly, what I would say, like, what was kind of easy was, like it wasn't easy, but it was like quick to adapt to was like the amount of workload that I started off because like since I came like I did the British system, getting like a lot of workload was kind of normal. So I adapted to this like while transitioning to Lausanne was kind of like smooth, I would say. And then honestly, what was kind of difficult was navigating the whole transit system because coming from a background where, like I would have my own car and drive around, just navigating the transit system. But this is where, like, again, like Lassonde actually plays a major role because, like, it is very well connected to the whole transit system. You want to get to downtown, you want to get to like different places. Like, you have two subway stations on campus that are very accessible and they technically take you anywhere. And I would say like what was different, like I would say like everything kind of was different, but not different at the same time. So kind of, So I would say like I don't know, like it's just a mix of everything, I would say.
Yeah, it's a lot of things going on, especially in the first semester, first year, because it's a big jump from university, from high school to university for, I think,
Yeah.
even domestic students. Ethan, please.
Okay, sure. What I found easy, I guess, funny enough, was there are a lot of ways to make new friends on campus. So that part of like transitioning to uni was pretty easy and pretty fun for me. What was difficult was now I guess in high school or in the past, my parents sort of managed the money. But now I needed to learn to budget and manage my own money. So that was a little bit difficult. But then as Jamil said, getting used to public transit definitely did take a bit, but being like at York and at Lassonde really helped with that because, for example, I moved last summer, but I was one bus away from York. And then I'll be moving again next year, but I'll still once again be one bus away from York. So it's like really well connected to the entire city. And I would say another sort of challenging thing was cultural differences, not challenging because how do I say this? It was challenging just because I had to get used to like so many different cultures at once, but it was amazing to really learn about everyone's cultures and to be part of a diverse campus. So that was my transition experience to York.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Natasha, please.
So, at the start, I felt that it's going to be overwhelming. Just as an international student, it's going to be so hard to talk to people and make friends, but it was not. And I was so surprised because the community at Lassonde, I feel so welcomed. And it was actually really easy to talk to people. And I'm not a person who usually starts a conversation, but I found so many people coming and saying hi, and so many just turned out to be even upper ear. So even if you're like not randomly sitting at your engineering building, people they do seem approachable and they come and talk to you. So making friends, I thought it's going to be hard, but it wasn't. The second thing, like I wasn't living on campus, but I was commuting and I was navigating how should I do that. And I actually made a lot of friends just while commuting. So a lot of people, it's not like you're the only one who's commuting. And as my other peers, they just like mentioned that York is kind of in the middle. I made so many friends while commuting, meeting them during my journey and coming to York. It wasn't difficult, but it just takes a little time to get to know about the transit system. But it's pretty easy once you just get to know how you can commute. So I would say, as an international student, it's not difficult. You just need to give yourself a few weeks to get used to the schedule and everything. And overall, Lausanne has a lot of resources, so it's perfectly okay, and you get used to it pretty soon.
Thank you, Natasha. That's definitely true, and I'm a part of it because I started during COVID as well, and it was never an issue to find people even during COVID while the classes were still online. Toby, please.
Oh, hi. I don't think my all like every other person mine was quite different because I came in here at the heat of COVID, so my first year was online, fully online, and it was quite an interesting navigation because I think I made my first friends on Zoom. I didn't get to see them until my second semester, so it was like she was fully remote at home all day long, and it was difficult transition because moving from back home because I'm originally from Nigeria and I moved here straight for school in the heat of COVID, I had to navigate going through Zoom myself, having to navigate going through assignments and everything. And there was no mom or dad to kind of walk me through the steps. Yes, I did have my cousins, but it was not the same because again, they had to also deal with themselves in school and everything. So everyone was in their own world. But second year was really fun. And again, one part of this I love about my second internship was because of the centrality of York. The two subway systems make it very easy to connect to school as well as connect to downtown other places and also the community at York. So and when the COVID restrictions were lifted, it was a lot easier to kind of navigate school, meet people, find your community, and then it was better transition from there. But yes.
Thank you so much, everyone. The next question will be about campus life. I know some of you live on campus, and I do as well since the day one. So there's a lot to say. Is the campus safe? Maybe is one of the most common questions. And what time do classes start or end? And how do you usually meet people? Jamil, please.
So I used to live on campus for, like for I think like 2 years or something. And in those 2 years, like I would say like the campus ha in terms of safety, it is like quite safe because there are like a bunch of different options that you can use. There's like for example, like after I think 8 p.m. um there's like a system or like you can call an office and they have like a go safe basically, and then they send people to walk with you like wherever you want to go on campus. For example, let's say you've done class, like you're done at 9 p.m. and then you want to walk to your residence. You can easily call them and then like they would drop you off. But I would say like, and then like going in terms of my classes, classes in my first year usually started at like we had like two chemistry lectures a week, as far as I remember, and they were the earliest. They usually start at 8:30 a.m. But then the latest, if I remember right, was like probably 6 p.m., which honestly isn't that bad because like honestly speaking, like whatever you have after 6 p.m., I used to spend it in like different clubs and on campus. And that way, and the clubs were like a way for me to kind of socialize. One of the clubs that I used to be part of, it was the Lassonde Robotics Club, York Robotics Society. And over there, like we used to work on a rover with like a robotic arm to kind of pick up stuff. And yeah.
Thank you, Jamil. Ethan, please.
Okay, so for is campus safe? I'll say from my experience, the campus is pretty safe because there were even times like last year where I'd have to leave around 12. That's just because I decided to stay. But even then, I never felt unsafe walking around campus or anything. There's Go Safe, which I believe Jamil talked about, which can get you around campus safely, but I never even really felt the need to call them. But yeah, so overall, I'd say campus is really safe. And as for what time classes start and end, so I most of my classes are in the afternoon, but I've had a couple early morning starts, like some 8 a.m. classes, which I'm not the best with, but they are fun. And then they can go as late as sometimes like ending at 7 p.m., but most of the times they'll happen during the afternoon. And as for how you meet people, I'd say that's one of the nice things about York University, where there's so many different ways to meet people. And as Natasha said, they're very approachable. Because, for example, I've met quite a few friends from just like turning to my right in class and saying hi to somebody. There's also a bunch of different student clubs you can join. You can go to a bunch of events hosted on campus. And then also, I am going to promote Lassonde Week Zero because that's where I made my first and my closest friends. So there are tons of ways you can meet people in university, and there are a bunch of people who would love to just keep in contact. So yeah, that's been my experience.
Thank you so much, Ethan. Natasha, please.
Yeah, so I don't live on campus. Like since first year, I live in Brampton, which is like a city near it's like in the GTA, Greater Toronto, but it has been a really good journey, honestly, because I feel the campus is always safe and you can see security, like the York security people, they're visible. They're always like roaming around and it's not like you're the only person. But as my peers mentioned, the GoSafe app, it's always there. You can ask someone to come and they'll escort you to the building wherever you want to go around the campus. But overall, I feel it's really safe. And my classes, like I remember in first year, I used to leave my house earlier and I used to be on campus like 7:38. And during winters, it's like still kind of like gloomy, but it's totally okay. It's safe. You see people around. And even like the latest my classes would end would be 5:36. And I've been on campus till 8:30 as well for events or something like that. But even if you like commute and you use the transit system, We have two subway stations, and there's people and TTC people are there. It's totally fine to commute even alone. It's safe. Other thing I would like to mention is that what I used to, you might think that, oh, the class is starting in the morning and ending so late is like huge and they're so long, but they just seem long. You get the gaps in between where you can actually go and be part of engineering clubs. There's so many clubs out there. I recently joined Lassonde Motorsports, and although that you might think that's more of a F1 car related thing, and I'm in computer engineering, but that's what's special about Lassonde because all the clubs they have diverse teams, so you can literally join any club, make friends from any background, and it's pretty approachable and a really fun community to join. And we always have competitions going on. And those competitions, they're really so like they're fun. You just go there. It's not about winning at that point because it's literally just meeting new people, networking with industry people as well, getting that tips and tricks from people who are like upper year students as well as industry leaders, and just enjoying and making friends.
Thank you so much, Natasha. I agree on Natasha's point where she mentioned about being able to be a part of probably any club at Lausanne, even though your degree is not fully related to it from the first side, but it honestly is. Every part of every program at Lausanne is somehow related to each other, meaning you can be a part of anything that you would like to. Toby, please.
Hi. So, like, I'm Natasha. I don't live on campus. I live in Bonn, and the latest I've been home is actually at 2 a.m. I've got home at 2 a.m. because I was on campus doing some schoolwork and I didn't want to leave until I was done with it. And yes, it's pretty safe. It's relatively safe. Like, I would say it's as safe as it can be because, um, the community is there's a whole lot of neighborhood watch, and like Jamila said, you have the go safe as well. So kind of walk from campus to the subway, and the subway is right inside York, so you can literally walk to the subway, hop the subway, and you go home. So in terms of safety, yes, it is very safe. And again, like they said, there's a community at York. There's student clubs. I am part of NSA. There's also a bunch of other clubs. There's a bubble tea club at York. So if you want to do bubble tea club, there's a lot of fun clubs at York. You just have to be related to your classes. It's just find what works for you, find your rhythm, and dance with it.
Thank you, everyone. We have a couple of questions in the chat. One of them is being good with math is a good factor for going into engineering. Our engineers, what do you think?
I would say being good in math, that it's a yes and no. I wouldn't say that like if you're good at math, that means you should get into engineering, but I would not say the otherwise. Because sorry, the other way. But because like what happens is that initially like as engineering students, you will learn the fundamentals first in your first and second year. Third and fourth year, you won't really I'm not gonna say you won't really apply the math. You will apply the fundamentals, and then you won't solve it by hand anymore. You're gonna start using the softwares to do it. But it's very important to understand how it works. So to an extent, there's a limit as to how much math you're gonna be applying. So again, like something that I always tell like first years, like being like if you're scared of math, like you literally just need to survive the first 2 years and then you're done. And that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
to add to what Jamal just said, yes, I don't, I guess after your third year or after your second year, I mean, your math requirement reduces a lot. What I would say though is to get grounded in the basics. You just need the basics and the fundamentals, like I said, and after which everything comes clean to you. And again, you have to be passionate about the cause because, sorry, excuse me, just having math as a favorite subject alone doesn't kind of cut it. You have to be passionate generally about the entire program because there's a lot of integrations that come into play. There's physics, there's chemistry, and then there's depending on what stream you decide to take, there's a lot more concentration. So your passion at the end of the day is what determines how it goes for you because regardless of how much you like math, at some point it gets complicated and it doesn't you don't no longer get through with just liking it. You now have to be passionate about it, kind of want to figure out a different route to this thing. So yeah.
I'm not in engineering, but we also have a lot of math courses, and I'm not the person that likes ever liked math. And I think of it as a trying to look forward to achieving the end result, what's gonna be next, like in the end and when I graduate. And like Jamil and Toby mentioned as well, it's really about the first year and maybe a year and a half where you really have to do a lot of math. Otherwise, you don't really use it as much as you might think of it. But yeah, you just need to get through that stage. And in my opinion, if you really want to get where you wanted to be at in your profession in the end, you should really try. Even though you might think that it's hard or anything, there's a lot of help on campus in terms of math from math department as well. So there are lots of resources for you. We have another question. It's about first year engineering, common first year engineering. And the students saying that in terms of engineering disciplines, and then after the first year, students can apply for their disciplines. Is there a system to assist with that, or do I have to be aware about what I want before I come? Does anyone wants to?
If okay, sure. So basically in your first year, it's gonna be like common engineering courses, and then like everyone's gonna be taking the same courses. Everyone's gonna sign up for the same courses for the first year, with the exception of one course in the winter. And then also like you will declare your major by the winter of your first year. I think sometime around March, somewhere around that, February, March. So like even if you go into first year, you're not sure what major you want to get into, it's completely fine. And like how was the process for the most of you? For example, for me, I switched between mechanical and software like three, four times as far as I remember. So like it's very normal to switch. And by the way, I did the switch within the span of 1 week between every switch. So like I would send an email that I switched, and then I would send another email. No, I changed my mind. So like it's completely normal. But what I would say, like, in order to help you decide, like, really experiment a lot of different stuff in your first year, and also read the news, read articles, look at where you want to go, what do you want to do, basically, and where do you see yourself. And like honestly, I would say don't worry. Like if the program, like if you think this is too hard for me, honestly, like one way or another, you'll figure it out, I would say. And there are like different resources that are like available for you to also use. So don't worry about the difficulty of a program, I would say. Worry about what you want to do first, and then look at the difficulty of the program.
Yes. I mean, to add to George, you just said again, just like him, I actually switched between civil and software engineering two times because my parents wanted me to do software engineering. And like I said, your passion is what kind of, at the end of the day, is what takes you through. I did my research. I kind of thought of what the job market is like, what the type of job path would look like. And for me, it was just not my thing. I could not fathom just sitting down and coding. I did like coding at some point, but it was just not my thing. And I like doing that because I'm a very, very visual learner. I like to kind of see what I'm doing and like kind of visualize it to the end. And it was always civil for me, but like again, with the trending things, it was going to be software. But at the end of the day, I was able to make up my mind, hey, this is what I want to do. And I had to talk to my parents, and I was able to switch eventually. And yes, and again, as part of that, I still have to code in my civil engineering as well because a lot of my programs require some degree of coding. So it's not that complicated, but it's still required. So it's like at the end of the day, if you still want to do a part of that in there, you can. But the point is, find your passion. Don't worry about what you want to do. Just like find the passion and then worry about that later because there's lots of resources for you. And in terms of using your research, you want to also look at the job market, the trends, your passion, what you want to do for a long time because whatever you decide to do is what you're going to do for the next 4 years until you change your mind. So it's important to kind of make sure you have like every available knowledge regarding that path before you make that decision.
Can I just
Thank you, Abby.
quickly Thank you so much. Can I quickly make an addition, Val, before we
Yeah.
move on? Just from the admissions front. So, echoing what Toby and Jamil have mentioned, you may go into engineering with an idea already, or you may not know at all which specialization you want to major in, right? Either are okay. Either one is okay because, and as mentioned in chat, Lassonde offers a common first year where you can explore the varied disciplines before you commit to one. But if you are already pretty certain which major you would like, there's also an engineering program guarantee process that we offer. So what this means is that after you apply to engineering, we at Lassonde will email you a form to fill in to let us know what your top two choices of engineering programs are. So if you fill in that form before the designated deadline on the form, we can actually secure you a spot in your top choice. We can let you know that you have a spot guaranteed for you. So after first year, you can go right into that major that you want. Or if you are like Jamil and Toby and you change your mind after first year, that is perfectly fine as well. You don't have to take the guarantee, but you have it as a safety net if you want it. All right, so that's just something else to take into consideration. I know that the breakout room time is over, but Valeria, is there anything else you wanted to add or any closing comments?
There was just one more question that I could address, but I'm not completely sure what the student is asking about. The last question is about the mathematics, physics, and subjects in first year engineering. And they're asking, could I maybe get the minimum required grades for these subjects?
Fantastic. So I believe this is probably an admission related question as well. So, regardless of which curriculum you've studied from high school, your application will be reviewed holistically. So, what this means is that after you submit your application, the admissions team is going to go through your academic record to see whether you have the upper level sciences and maths that are required for your program. If overall you are a strong and confident math and science student and you have these courses somewhere in your academic history, I recommend that you apply because even if you don't have perhaps the exact grade that the admissions team may be looking for, there are alternative options they can offer you to meet the requirement to be successful in the program. Okay, so although there aren't any exact cutoffs that we can provide at this time, we can say, make sure that you have upper level science and math courses completed, or at least to the best of your ability. Put in your application, and then we can consider what options there are for you so that you are set up for success in your program. And we'll keep in touch with you to let you know what your next steps are. All right. Anything else anyone else would like to add at this point before I kind of bring no problem before I bring the room to a close here? Well, I know we are a little over time. Thanks again, everyone. Thank you, Valeria, for leading the panel discussion. Thank you to our wonderful panelists for starting this wonderful discussion and giving, again, prospective students an insight into what it's like to study here at York U, as well as at Lassonde. If you have any other questions for us after today, I will put this in the chat for you. There is an opportunity for everyone to join us on Discord or send us a question. Again, thank you. I meant to put a smiley face there and it didn't translate there, but it's in the chat there for you to keep in touch with us even after today's session. All right. So feel free to jump right back into the main room and we'll see you very soon. Thank you, everyone.